Hi friends, my name is Alicia Sikandar. Welcome to my channel Smart Ed. As you guys know, I'm a preschool Montessori teacher and today's topic is gentle discipline, building respect and not fear. How to build a respectful, disciplined behavior in a child rather than instigating a fearful environment for a child to act in a certain way just because they're scared of us. Now, whenever people come to me, they're always like, it's a common question for me that since I'm a Montessori teacher, they're saying Montessori is a very, very restrictive way of teaching children because you're telling them what to do. You have a set pattern of your lessons, and the kids can't run in the class. Kids don't have that independence. They don't have a sense of choice. So isn't it very restrictive? So an answer to that would be, I am a Montessori teacher, but I like to integrate different curriculums, different systems into Montessori and create an environment in the class that's actually beneficial for every single child. So I think that the Montessori way of discipline is very beautiful because we are actually making the children very responsible individuals. Now, when we talk about discipline, the most important topic to realize in the beginning is what is traditional discipline. What kind of discipline methods do we use that were faulty and have not given us any benefits? We have not seen anything beneficial coming out of those. Actually, it has a very, very big negative impact on the childhood of a child. So let's talk about what the traditional discipline methods are. Many of you are familiar with it: suspension, expulsion, in-school isolation, detention, demerits, labeling the child, and in some cases, in some places, and in some cases, physical discipline as well, even though it is less common now, but it still sadly exists in some places of the world. So what are the negative effects of this kind of discipline? Now, this kind of discipline creates resentment and is not focused on change. It also creates lack of interest in learning. It increases aggression and misbehavior. It also increases antisocial behavior, uh, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, hopelessness, damage relationship with adults, damage relationship with environments, indirect physical harm as well, related to stress and anxiety in the children. I have told this in one of my videos before as well, that when a child has a disturbed, traumatic, stressful, anxious childhood, it physically impacts them as well. So as they're growing up, it is affecting their health in certain ways, and they might be susceptible to physical ailments later on. So this is one thing that we really need to take care of while creating environments for our kids, because we want our kids to feel safe, loved, have that kind of awareness of their surrounding rather than being fearful of something which creates a physical harm to them later on. Then they would have impaired social emotional skills, and they won't be able to emotionally regulate themselves in the proper way. Now, why does this kind of discipline fails? It's because it doesn't focus on the skill building. It focuses on the punishment. Let's say a child is unable to carry a tray from one corner of the room to another corner. Let's say from the shelf to the table. The tray falls from their hands and all the activity is scattered on the floor. Now, as a result of that, the adult around them would say, "What have you done? You can't carry a tray from one part of the room to another part. Look, all the activities on the floor. Who is going to be cleaning it now? Clean it up." This is one way an adult would react to that situation. Rather, in Montessori, we are, and not just in Montessori, honestly, like I'm a big fan of Montessori, but just generally in a classroom, how about teaching the child how to carry a tray from the shelf to the table? How about figuring out what the problem lies behind that. Maybe their motor skills are not developed properly. Maybe they're developing an eyesight issue. Maybe they weren't focused enough. Maybe they were running, they were excited to go to the table and play with that activity. Maybe the tray is heavy and the child is unable to carry that heavy tray from one part to another part. So you need to divide the activity into two trays so the children can carry it easily. So there could be so many things that could contribute to that. So instead of focusing on the punishment, on labeling, on the fact that the child has done something wrong, our job as educators, our job as adults is to build skills in them in order to create the discipline that we want to have in an environment or we are expecting from them. Then these kind of discipline, traditional discipline methods, they don't address the root cause. Just like I say, we fail to understand that behavior can stem from other sources like anxiety, trauma, excitement, learning deficits. It could also be just like a lack of will in a child to perform an activity. Maybe they're tired, maybe they're falling sick. So we have to see where it is originating from. Then this kind of discipline, traditional discipline method, also creates fear and resistance, and it leads to fear, it leads to shame, it leads to disengagement, it leads to lack of curiosity, it leads to damaged relationships socially, emotionally, physically, and it also creates a negative perspective of the school and of adults around a child. So they trust less, they communicate less. We don't want to create these kind of we don't want to create this kind of childhood for a child. So let's come to what is gentle discipline. Gentle discipline for preschoolers is a respectful, connection focused approach that guides behavior through empathy, clear boundaries, positive communication instead of punishment, teaching kids self regulation and problem solving by validating their feelings, and firmly setting the limits. It's not that you let them do whatever they want to do. There are limits, there are rules that a child has to follow, but how we teach them to follow those rules, or how we create environments where schedules are developed that make the flow of the day in a way that the discipline is followed through, is our job as adults. We need to understand that first. Then also, gentle discipline is about building trust and emotional intelligence and not indulging in child's every demand, but rather ensuring that the kids learn right from wrong within a safe, loving relationship. Now, let's say there is a child who's very hyperactive in the classroom and is running here and there, bumping into stuff and kids. What are you going to do? What kind of discipline are you going to use? You've been telling them again and again, indoor, no running, outdoor running. You have practiced many strategies, but every uh, uh, every hour of the day, let's say, they have an urge to run in the class. Now, how do you address to this situation? First of all, you need to bring awareness to the child. If they run in the classroom, what will happen? They will get hurt, they will hurt their friend, they will bump into furniture. There are lots of objects in the classroom that could hurt them, so it's not a safe environment to run. If they want to run, they have an urge to take out that physical emotion of theirs where they need to run, they need to take out that aggression or that energy, they need to let it flow. How do you redirect that energy to different activities that are going to release that energy and calm the child for them to not run in the class? So both things, mentally preparing them for the consequences of running so they understand the situation rather than telling them no running. Tell them no running, they will run. Even as adults, we're doing things that we're not supposed to do, right? So we have to regulate our brain and we have to regulate our emotions. We know what is right and what is wrong. So this is the same strategy that you are passing down to the children, where you're telling them, okay, this thing is dangerous for you. These are the consequences of doing this thing. So you have a choice. You want to get hurt or you want to be safe. And then redirecting that energy to different activities that are going to release that hyperactiveness. Maybe he needs a common toy, maybe they need anything, lots of things could come up to your mind, like their mind is bored, maybe they need some connecting toys, some artwork. They can release that energy through artwork, through painting, or you could do Zumba with them, take out that energy from their bodies, make them a little bit tired. Maybe the child is sleepy, maybe the child is hungry. What does the child need at that time? So you are a better judge as an adult. Now, I would like to give some examples of gentle discipline. Like I'm talking and talking about gentle discipline, but what can we do in different situations? Let's see. So we focus on the positive. Just like I said, when you say don't run, the child is gonna run because you said don't run. Now they will run. But if you give them reasons or use words like let's use your walking feet. Remember, running feet are gonna make you hurt. The memory comes back to them. So your words are very important, how you're speaking to them. If you're not being respectful, they're not going to respond nicely to you. Then use when and then statements like when you put your toys away, then we can read a story. So there's an incentive towards it. Then you can give simple and clear instructions like please put the blocks in the bin. We're cleaning up. It's cleaning up time, rather than just yeah, like when you're giving clear and simple instructions rather than using lots of words, kids understand it better. Then you validate their emotions. They're throwing things around. You say, I see you're upset. You seem mad. Are you mad? It's okay to feel mad, but it's not okay to hit. So let's talk about it. Let's do something else. Would you like a squishy to squish on? Would you like papers to rip and take out your anger? Once you rip this paper, all your anger will be out, and then we will scrunch it and we will throw it in the garbage, and all of your anger will be out. So the child understands response to that. It really works well. So you can plan these kind of strategies where you can use sound, sound, tactile objects to release those kind of emotions. Then offer acceptable choices. For example, do you want to wear your red shirt or do you want to wear your blue shirt? When you give a child a choice, like for example, a child is disengaged in the classroom, they don't want to play with anything, they're disturbing other friends, you bring two activities, some interesting activities, you offer it to them. Do you want to color or do you want to play with Legos? So the child will think about it. Oh, I want to color. Okay, let's come to the table and color. So when you're giving them choice, they get the what do you call it, they get the control over, they think that they're getting a control over the situation where they're choosing for themselves, and that gives them a composure in their body where they reflect uh, uh, like they're like responsibility. Okay, I'm responsible to choose for myself now. Oh, I don't want to color, I want to play with the Legos, so they choose for themselves, right? So then redirecting to another activity. For example, a child is making uh, structures and then kicking those structures. So you feel like, okay, this child is building aggression and they need to take that aggression out. Right now, it's not safe for them to play with another friend with the Legos because they're kicking the Legos. The Legos are going everywhere. The Legos can break. The child can get hurt. Another child can get hurt, or the other kids can learn this behavior and start. So imagine everybody start kicking over there. What are you going to do? So before that behavior happens, you need to stop that behavior there and then. You redirect. Say, oh, I feel like you want to kick something. Let me give you a squishy ball. Let's kick that ball in that corner. So you develop those activities in the classrooms, maybe a sensory bin where the cars and the kid can smash the cars together, take that aggression out. Maybe they just need to squish something, they need to release that frustrated energy into things that calm them down. I'm always telling everyone, please, please don't tell, when a child is aggressive, you don't go and tell them, stop doing that, because that's going to build up the aggression even more and more. So what your strategy should be, you should redirect that energy. If a child is feeling sad, how do you redirect that energy into a happy emotion? Okay, so this is art, literally an art of a teacher. That's what makes you distinct from other teachers. That's what makes you distinct from other people. You know how you deal with the child and how you create environment for them so that before something happens, it stops. Something negative erupts from the child, you stop it before that. So how do you do that? You have to think about it. Then you have to model a good behavior. I've been consistently saying that. Be good role models as adults. Please, please, please. If you're shouting, they will shout. If you're using bad words, they will use bad words. If you're using foul language, they will use foul language. If you're sitting at the on the table, they will also sit on the table. You know, uh, I once I was sitting in a circle with my legs folded, and I asked everybody to crisscross applesauce. And everybody, like maybe out of 15 kids, 10 kids asked me, "Why are you not sitting crisscross applesauce?" I realized then that if I want them to sit crisscross applesauce, they're expecting me to be a perfect model for them at that time, you know? So be perfect, good role models when you're dealing with kids. Think about it. Think about your actions before you're asking them to do something. Then you assign them simple chores, like help them put toys away with praise of for effort. Also help them, show them how to do that. Maybe they're so tired, there's a big mess, they don't want to clean it up. Okay, let's clean it up. I will help you. I will help you clean it up. So that's a very encouraging way to get the child to do the thing, because then they know somebody's there for them, right? Then you practice routines, make schedules. uh, Very important to make schedules for a classroom. If every day is different, starting from morning till evening, and kids don't know what's going to happen in their day, it's going to cause distress. uh, and when you have inclusive environments where you have special needs kids with the regular kids, schedule is the best way to carry out the day, because then everybody knows what they are expecting from their day. Yes, you can change a little bit. You can change the activities, you can change the flow, but you can change the activities, you can change what's happening at that time, but the general flow of the day should be the same. Timings should be followed, because especially preschoolers, when it's nap time. You can't have activities around that time, or you can't have expect a child to perform a dance performance at that time, or go out in the gym, or go outdoors when it is their sleeping time. When it is their lunchtime, it is their lunchtime, because that's when their body is going to tell them that they're hungry. So please follow the schedules, create schedules according to your class environment and what you think your kids need. Also, be active listeners. I've told this before, even as adults. If you feel sick, you go to a person and you say, "I'm feeling sick." "Oh, you're feeling sick? That's okay. You don't have a problem. Feeling sick is just normal. You'll be fine. Go and do your work." How are you going to feel about that? We're passing it down on our kids as well, because we need to be active listeners to their problems, and we need to sort it out. That's our job as adults. Okay? So, yeah, like in the end, I would just say that children grow with the trauma that is created through their environments. And trust me, when they grow up, they carry it with them subconsciously, consciously. That affects their daily life, that affects their behaviors, that affects their relationships as adults. And 70, maybe 50% of the people know, not 50, honestly, like I've seen 70 to 80% of the people don't know how to deal with that trauma until given guidance, a proper, they spur out of that traumatic subconscious mind, where there's fear, anxiety from childhood, they haven't been told properly, there's personality disruption, which we can see in their everyday life as an adult. They hurt people, and you need to decide for yourself what kind of generation you want to lead. You're a leader, you're a teacher, you're an educator, you're a parent. What kind of kids you want to lead your world, and then follow through, you know hurt people. So I would end my video on that. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.